Come and join me on the Coach's Couch today here at Inspired Coach Podcast. I'm so delighted to have you sitting next to me. Again, I wish that was physically the case. We'd need a big couch, given the number of people that I know download and listen to these episodes. It's tens of thousands of you from around the world. But I'll take, virtually, because that's all I'm going to get. And so I just have to take that. Anyway, welcome to you. And I'm so delighted to be here with you today. And we have a wonderful question that has been submitted for the Coach's Couch from a fabulous coach by the name of Andrea Westbrook. And you can find Andrea at andreawestbrook.com.au. Here is Andrea's question. Julie, I'd love to hear your advice regarding returning to one's coaching business after a considerable break. Thank you for this great question, Andrea. I have had more than one of these myself in my business time, which one would expect given, that I've been doing this for nearly 2.5 decades. And for everybody listening, if you have not had a considerable break after starting your coaching business at some point in time, in the future, you likely will have one. Whether it is for possibly more positive reasons, such as you want to take an extended break to travel, or the arrival of a beautiful baby, or anything of your choosing. It also may be for reasons not necessarily of your choosing. And this has happened to me twice, where I've had to take breaks in my business for health reasons. And that, of course, is something that can occur to and for and with any of us at any time. So this is a great question, Andrea, and I'm so delighted to be here to answer it for you and for anybody else who may be on a break right now. Hello to you. Or this might be an episode that you'd like to return to at some point in time in the future if it is relevant for you then. The first thing that I really want to share with you, Andrea, and everybody is to know that if you are taking, as you put it, Andrea, a considerable break or an extended break, or you have done that already, to know that this is something that is very okay. Because our egos and inner critics can have us worried about such things, that they're not okay, that they're somehow or another, that this is not permissible, that it's going to mean our business, whether this break is chosen or not, is going to fold or collapse in some way. And none of those things are necessarily true and are likely not true if you do supportive things around it to make sure that you can come back when you desire and want to come back. So if you have any part of you that at any point in time is piping up and saying, it's not okay for me to take this break if you're planning for it, or it's not okay for me to be on this break, please do whatever it is that is necessary for you to soothe and tend to yourself and be gentle with yourself with that, because it's not true. We've got to give ourselves permission for this, for whatever reason that we may want or need it. The next thing that I want to share with you, because I do see people do this and I don't think it's necessary. And of course, this is just my opinion. Other people may feel that it is, and that's absolutely okay. You don't owe nobody does, I don't believe, your subscribers, listeners, community, anyone, any kind of apology for taking or being on this break. If you've needed to take a break or you've wanted to take a break for whatever reason, that's so okay. And it is not something that you need to apologize for. And yet, I see people do this all the time. They might not have emailed their community for months or maybe even a year or more. And the first thing they do is say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I've been MIA, or I'm sorry that I've had to take this break. And I just don't think that that's necessary. You don't owe anyone an apology for taking a break in your business for any reason. You get to do what is best and right for you at any time that it is. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to slip that one in there. Now, Andrew and everyone, when I see people return from taking a break in their business, there are usually, and this is connected to what I just spoke about, there are usually two ways that I see them go about that. Both are very different. Either are okay. It's all about what works for you. So the first way is that they explain, usually via something like their newsletter or a social media post or both, why it is that they are about to take a break, or on their return that they have taken a break, and why now is the right time for them to return to their coaching work. Now, whether or not you do this or anyone does this, and in how much detail you give that explanation, is of course dependent, I believe, on who you are as a person and how much you would like to share, and also the why of your break. Okay, because it's very different, for example, to take a break because you've had a baby, than it is because you are sick, than it is because maybe you've been feeling disillusioned or a little bit lost, or maybe a lot lost, or uncertain about what it is that you want to do with your business, and you've needed to step back from it to get some perspective about that. You don't owe anyone any kind of deep explanation if you don't want to give that, but of course you may. Most people do explain something, give something, again, remember what I said before though, without apology. But how much, or if you do that, is entirely up to you. The second way is that they don't explain or speak to anything about this at all. They just return. That way is more unusual, but it is okay to do that. It's absolutely okay. I think for most people that way doesn't resonate as much as the first way, but it's also okay to just take a break and then return, because none of us owe anything about quote unquote consistency here to people if we're not engaged in a paid exchange with them, right? We have to be careful that we don't fall into traps of thinking that just because we have been maybe, for example, releasing podcast episodes with a certain level of frequency, or that we've been showing up on social media with a certain level of frequency or anything like that, that somehow or another boxes us, even traps us into that needing to be the case all the time. That's where we make real rods for our backs here, which we don't really want to do, and where it can be challenging sometimes for people to believe that it is okay for them to take a break. As for what is best to happen from there, Andrea and everyone, I truly believe that the core of what is best for you to do when you've taken a break like this before or are planning one, that the best things are done before you make the decision to publicly return to your coaching work. It's not so much after you've decided now is the time to return but because really from there you can do whatever it is that you like. The real work, so to speak, to make the transition back is all best done while you are still not front facing to the public and your community. And so that period of time, you may still consider yourself to be on break from public work, or at the time when you begin to lean into those things that are still behind the scenes. Because of course there are breaks and then there are breaks. There is a break from just not doing any front-facing work, like not seeing clients, not posting on social media, not podcasting or releasing content, not sending newsletters. And then there is not doing any of those things at all, combined with even looking at or engaging in your business behind the scenes, where people cannot see, where you may be doing planning, shifting, changing, right? There's a variety of different levels to this. And so what do I mean by those things that you may look at or likely need to look at when you are on break or on break from just front-facing work? Well, this is where after or during the taking of this break, you get to decide before being out there again. I believe the core thing to look at to set yourself up for success when you do fully return is, what do you truly want to do? Is it the same or very similar to before your break? Do you want to make little changes, significant changes, or have an entire change of direction in your coaching business? And then looking at, what do those changes potentially mean for things like your brand, your website, your copy, your social media presence, your podcast if you have one, events you attend, relationships that you cultivate, and more. These decisions are best made before you start to do anything like call for new clients or open up your content creation again, because that will mean if you look into and do that, you're going to be fully ready to return from that break, very sure, or at least more sure, in absolutely everything that you want to do. And then the next thing that I encourage you to do is, once you are back, fully back in your business from your break, I deeply encourage you and anybody else that may be on this path right now to fully own that and fully own the changes, the growth, or the evolution. If there has been a change of direction in something, like you possibly used to offer a particular service and now you don't, or it's different in some considerable way, or you've had a price rise of some kind, any shifts or changes at all, please own that. Please know that if that is the direction that your head or your heart have led you in, own it. You don't have to over-explain it again or apologize for the changes or newness or releasing of anything in any way that has been an important part of your evolution during the taking of this break. We need to see more examples of people, including coaches and online heart-centered service-based business owners, shifting, changing, and evolving, especially after necessary breaks in business, without the need to over-explain that in any way, especially in any kind of apologetic way. So, Andrea, I hope that was helpful to you. Of course, I don't know. I'm presuming that you are asking this question because you have either taken a break, are on a break, or are considering a break of some kind. And so wherever you may be with that, I hope that this has been helpful to you, and also helpful to anybody that may be also in that position as well right now, or that it may be something that happens or comes to you in the future. And please know, as I said, that no apologies are necessary here. Okay? No matter where you might be, because even if you think to yourself consciously, well, yeah, of course not. Why should I apologize for that? Sometimes we can unconsciously fall into these places and believe that somehow or another we're letting people down or we're letting ourselves down, when that just simply isn't the case at all. We all need breaks for lots and lots of different reasons, whether it be for a week, a month, more, whatever it is that we may consider to be extended. So, Andrea, I hope for you that either your break ahead or the one that you're on or has been past has been or is exceptionally nourishing for you. And I'm wishing you all the very best for your return, or if you're already there, for the continuing success of your business.